Buddy, you're walking on the train tracks right now.
I'm stepping on train tracks.
Yeah, right now we are at the Lancaster-Chester Railroad Museum in Lancaster, South Carolina. This railroad museum is only open, I believe, here I can tell you, just a second. This is only open the first and third Saturdays of the month. Couldn't find anything online about it, so we just hedged our bets and came anyway, and they're open today. Free admission runs on donations. So fun.
Let's go walking away.
Guys, don't touch. Don't touch.
The air conditioner went out earlier this year, up here that takes care of it up here, and we had a guy up.
So we done tore it up, now we're fixing it. He starts his
They,
yeah, the one that goes through Rock Hill, downtown Rock Hill, is one with
We'll
railroad
go
I
this
work
way.
for.
This way.
This is super cool.
There's the rabbit.
So the train is actually under maintenance right now, but look at all of this. This is so cool.
I'm gonna have to do some major work, probably pull on. It was built as the Chester and Sherrall narrow gauge railway,
Okay.
and it was part of the Chester and Lenore narrow gauge consortium.
Okay.
And at one time, you could take a narrow gauge train from Johnson City, Tennessee, through the mountains of Tennessee and North Carolina, all the way down to Lenore,
Okay.
everything like that in North Carolina. It became known as the Eastern Tennessee and Western North Carolina Railroad.
Okay.
Nicknamed the Tweetsy.
Tweetsy. Okay. That's how Tweetsy got.
That's
Okay.
how they got its name. It went on down through Boone and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And there was logging branches that made it all the way from Boone down to the north. In 1880s, another railroad came through here, and it was called the Charleston, Cincinnati, and Chicago,
Okay.
also known as the Three Seas Line. They built the railroad across the street over there. And basically, from Lancaster all the way to Chester till 2001.
Okay.
In 2001, what was left of the Three Seas over here, which became the Richmond and Danville, became the Southern, had been cut back. It's no longer a through route.
Oh, okay.
So
this is something we tell around Ghost Tower store because everybody likes treasure huntings and stuff like that. But there are some facts to it. In the war between the states, Jeff Davis, who was the president of the Confederacy, escaped from Danville, Virginia. Richmond had fallen, and Danville was the second capital. The last capital of the Confederacy, because the way the thing goes, it goes where the Confederate Declaration of Independence is. Guess where it happened to be? Chester.
Chester?
He got off the train.
All right.
Jeff Davis got off the train at Chester and took off on horseback through the woods around Woods Ferry because little dude who's not really liked through the South, especially by historians, called Sherman, happened to be in Columbia burning to the ground. So Jeff Davis took off and went south but west. They captured him 2 days later, a place called Elberton, Georgia, which he had to
I know it is.
he had to be running. He had to been riding hard to do it in 2 days. Good little ways. He made it past. He made it past.
He made it to the granite capital of the world
Yeah.
in Overton.
He made it to a place in Union, about 40 miles away from Chester. About lunchtime on the same day he left Chester. But anyhow, here's the fun part. The railroad track alignment from where it was when this all happened is not where it is today. In fact, it could be anywhere from a quarter mile over to the exact same spot. Between Rock Hill, there's three signals are all that's left of the names of these little communities. Yeah, it's funny. Railroad signals still keep their names, even if there ain't no town there no more. You ever heard of the community of Smith?
Nope.
How about Ogden?
Sounds familiar, but no, I couldn't tell you where it is.
All right, how about Osmos?
Nope.
All right, well, they were all communities.
All right.
They're all there. The signals are still named for them places. But anyhow, the track deviates closer to Highway 72 right there.
Okay.
But here's the fun part.
Okay.
Confederate Gold was following him on another train, 10 miles, running 10 minutes to 10 miles behind Jeff Davis's train. And that it came to Chester empty. It left Rock Hill loaded. All right. In the middle of the night, the next morning it showed up empty. And so a lot of people think it got removed somewhere on the South Fork bunches from historians. And then you got all the goofy people. Oh, it wound up in Lake Erie and all that. It could be buried somewhere around here.
Somewhere, yeah.
So
Somewhere in between what? Here in Elberton or here in?
I would say my theory, and I have a couple other people that have the same theory.
Oh, let's hear it.
All right, South Fork of Fishy Creek. They all intersect Fishing Creek.
Fishing Creek. Okay, I know
Okay,
where
well
that
they
is.
cross up there, which is about 10 miles out of Chester.
Okay.
About the same distance apart from being out there. Because they didn't want to bring the train into Chester and stir up a lot of things. Because you got gold on it. They're security conscious even back then. And so, anyhow, at that time, and even today, if it's raining hard, which it was supposedly on the night that he did the run, the river is somewhat the creek is somewhat navigable in a canoe.
Okay.
So my theories are, and here's the other thing. You have to know a little bit more about history too. You happen to know where the alternate location for West Point was?
Citadel? No, Great Falls.
Great Falls, South Carolina.
Great Falls.
Of all places, in fact, they call it Fort Dearborn or Dearborn Island.
Yeah, that they're gonna make into a state park.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, do you know it's a Revolutionary War ammo dump and a Civil War ammo dump?
So are they gonna clean all that out?
So we're
before they
wondering
make it a
if,
state
because
park?
I'm wondering if they tried to run it down there on P Rose, because it ain't but about 30 miles by water. Like I said, you know about history, you know about some of the stuff right here, and you know about that. If I had to be a guessing man,
Yeah.
I'm thinking it wound somewhere between Chester, where they took it off at South Fork, and floated it down the creek to Fort Dearborn.
Yeah. Huh, that's really interesting.
So that's the plan. So the kids will be able to operate this.
Look at the lights.
So the museum is in the old train depot, which is very, very cool.